In this video, we will be showing you how to document operational support for a patient safety review report record that has been created in the Recommendations module. After you've located the patient safety review report record, review all the fields in the review record. The title and the reference fields provide information about the report which enables users to easily identify the report at a glance. The title is a brief description of the report, while the reference provides a unique identifier for the report. Each health authority has an approved format for the reference, which may include a combination of the type of report, the agency, site or facility, the year or date of the event, the PSLS event number, or the initials of the patient or person involved. In this example, this health authority has used agency, type of report, date of event, and the patient's initials. The status of the report is open, which indicates the report has been completed and recommendations have yet to be implemented. The details section of this screen provides information enabling you to better understand the event and assists with your decisions involving organizational support for the recommendations from the report. The recommendations are listed on the bottom of this screen. Open the first recommendation by clicking on the row. This is the recommendation screen. The top of the screen provides reference information about this recommendation. It includes the type of report the recommendation stems from, which in this case is a patient safety review report, the status of the report, the title, and the reference. Each recommendation screen describes a contributing factor identified from the Patient Safety Review Committee, as well as the recommendation developed to eliminate, reduce, or mitigate the risk or harm, and the method of evaluating the recommendation. Each recommendation is scored to evaluate its effectiveness by determining if it targets the identified contributing factor, if there is evidence to support the recommendation as an appropriate and effective means to address the identified contributing factor, the impact of the recommendation on the risk identified, and the ranking of the recommendation on the hierarchy of effectiveness, which was developed by John Gosby, an expert in human factors. The score ranges from 0 to 15, with 15 representing the recommendation most likely to succeed in addressing the identified contributing factor. The minimum score suggested to proceed is 6. After reviewing the information, determine the degree of organizational support for the recommendation. Organizational support is necessary for the successful implementation and sustainment of the recommended change. The support scoring tool assists operational leaders to determine the level of support for each recommendation contained within the report. To view the tool, select Yes in the field Show Support Scoring Tool. The tool asks if the recommendation is attainable with regards to the availability of resources, competence, and tools required to implement the recommendation. If the recommendation is feasible considering organizational culture, readiness for change, change burden, technology, legislation, and other contextual factors. If the recommendation is well aligned with the organization's strategic and operational priorities. If the recommendation is not implemented, what is the impact or risk to the organization? When assessing the impact, consider the impact to patients, staff, the organization's reputation, and costs. For assistance in determining the risk rating, click on the hyperlink found under the field label. Process owners are the people who will be directly impacted by or significantly involved in implementing the change. Their knowledge of the context and support for the recommendation can influence the successful uptake of the recommendation. Their involvement should be reviewed when assessing the organizational support for recommendations. In our example, we will select Reviewed Recommendations. The free text field is available for organizational leaders to enter notes regarding their assessment, which inform their decision about accepting or not accepting the recommendation from the implementation. Now scroll to the bottom of the screen and click Save. Click Back to Recommendations. Scroll to Status section of the screen to review the support score for the recommendation. This is the end of the video documenting operational support for a patient safety review report record. If you have any questions, please contact your BC PSLS coordinator in your health authority.